Welcome back to Not So Grand Garage. Out in the fuel shed today, and we've got an interesting project coming up. Today, we are going to run some gear oil that has been used through the WVO Designs Extreme Centrifuge. We're going to do several different tests on it, and it's all getting sent out to a lab to see if it can be put back in service. The issue is this oil is being contaminated with particulate, water, mud, things like that. And we want to see if we can clean it up enough to get another run out of it, if that makes sense. This oil is very expensive, but it's in some very expensive equipment too, so we don't want to mess around too much. As you can see, I've kind of got everything apart here. Got the small batch rig unhooked, and I've been cleaning everything out to the best of my ability. As you can see, the drum is fairly clean, and I ran the bowl of the centrifuge through the ultrasonic cleaner and got all the gunk out of it. Been cleaning out the lines and everything, so we'll have as little cross-contamination with this oil as possible. But yeah, I'm gonna start getting this put back together, and we're gonna get right into it. So we've drained the heater, all the lines to the best of what we could get out of it. There's a little bit trapped down here, and it just sits back in here no matter how high we lift this up. I've drained and cleaned out the P-trap. See, valves out there. I flushed this all out with a little bit of diesel fuel. I've cleaned these lines out going down to this bucket here. And yeah, it won't be perfect, but I think it'll be good enough for what it is. I'll go on and start putting everything back together. I still haven't put a valve on this to drain the trap, which would be a really nice little feature to have. But I'm hopefully not going to be in this shed for a lot longer. We'll get into that later. But anywho, now I need to cut this off a little bit and get it all hooked back up and get it ready to run. They sent us 5 gallons of this Shell gear oil. It's got 129 hours on it. We're going to break this down into roughly 2.5 gallon batches. The first run, we're going to run this unit at half speed at approximately 180 degrees. So it would be essentially like running the basic unit with a heater. We'll run it around 3,000 RPM. It won't be exact because I can't tell the exact RPM the rotor is turning, but I'm going to set it to half speed on the controller, and that should be close enough. We're going to run that batch through. Near the end of the batch, we're going to take a sample and set it aside. Then we're going to run it through, we'll run the next oil through at full speed, same temperature, same flow rate. We'll take a sample of that at the end of the run. Then, after it runs through the first time, I'm going to dump it right back into the bucket and run it through again, just like I batch my fuel. And we're going to see if there's any differences. All of these runs will be sent off to the Shell lab, and hopefully here in a few weeks we'll get results back. And I think this is going to answer a lot of questions as to whether these units do what they're supposed to do. I do have the initial test run. I'm going to put a picture in probably right about here, and you'll be able to see the particulate count and everything of the oil that's in this bucket. And yeah, as you can tell, it's got a lot of particulate in it. Shell's recommending to take it out of service and change filters and such. So I think this will be a really good test for this unit and to see what it can do. So yeah, let's get it all set up and get it running. as you can see, it's about a little more than a third, not quite a half a bucket, and the oil is fairly dark. Got the unit spinning fairly slow. I'm letting this heater come up to temperature. It's getting pretty hot pretty quick before I start oil flow, and then we'll dial in our flow rate by output, shooting for around 5 gallons per hour. That should run this through in half an hour or so, something like that. And we'll take our sample right at the end of the run. So I'll be out here paying attention to this and keeping an eye on things to make sure we don't run dry. But they sent me sample kits already numbered 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to add to this will be a 3,000 RPM run. This will be a 6,000 single pass. This will be a 6,000 dual pass, all around 5 gallon per hour. And we'll see how it does. We got all our valving set for our small batch test. I'm gonna go on and bring this up to 3,000 on the controller. That is half speed on the controller. And I'm gonna go on and start oil flow. We're shooting for nice and slow, so we'll let this run a little bit, let oil start flowing, and then we will adjust the flow rate to get where we want to be. And I do want to let the first gallon of this run through anyways, because I'm sure there's still some water and everything in it from me flushing it out. That's why I will be taking the sample at the end of every run. But yeah, we'll let it go and see how it does. I'll bring you back when the oil starts flowing. And a nice slow flow rate, about pencil thickness, thereabouts. So should be good on flow. I may up that just a little bit, but yeah. Now you can see we've got some black from our fuel. That's wasn't quite cleaned out. That'll be okay. That's one of the reasons I'm not gonna sample until everything is ran all the way through. I knew there would be some cross-contamination in the system still. There's no way to prevent it. But I cleaned it out as best as I could. And mainly, we're looking for moisture and particulate removal. And that's what we're gunning for. So a little bit of contamination shouldn't be a big issue, but we shall see. But the oil coming through this tube so far looks pretty light and opaque. So yeah, we'll see how it turns out. I will sample this here towards the end of the run. We are flowing good, and I will keep a close eye on this right here to make sure we don't run out. So bring you back in probably half an hour or so when this is wrapping up, and we'll take our sample. Well, we're getting close to the end of the run. I decided I'm going to pull some samples in clear jars from each run for myself, so we can do some visuals, comparison between them with glass jars. But I figure we're real close to the end of this run. About an inch of oil in the bottom left. So I'm gonna go on and pull their first sample and get it sealed up. Then we will shut everything down here in just a minute, fill that bucket back up, spin this thing up to 6,000. Sample number 1, packaged up. And yeah, I'll go on and let it finish running out, and then go and fill the bucket back up with what's left of this. And I think I'm going to let it run back into this bucket instead of the metal container I've got here. That way, after it's done, I can turn around and dump this bucket right back in. And for the third test, we're going to do a 2-pass on it and see how much of a difference it makes, if anything. But yeah, we'll keep going. Okay, being careful opening this up because it is extremely hot. And the bowl looks pretty clean, really. Got a little bit of buildup, not much at all. So I'm going to clamp this lid back on. Keep in mind, this is only a 2-gallon pass, so the particulate buildup in that rotor is not going to be much at all, if anything. You're talking about, it takes a substantial amount of particulate to start building up layers on the inside of that rotor. But yeah, we'll see what it did. A lot of that could have just been washed out through the sludge drain, which really it should be. And we are running this, like I said, 180-ish degrees. So the oil is really thin when it comes out of the bowl. But yeah, we will get this clamp back down. This whole unit's really hot. Gonna go on and fill that bucket back up and start our 6,000 RPM pass. Alrighty, we've got our bucket filled back up. Got a little bit more oil on this run. So we are going to change this bucket out here for this one that the oil came in. I believe how we'll do this is, oh yeah, that'll work fine. So we're gonna dump this right back in the top of this bucket. Once this bucket fills up with the first pass, right at the end of the run, I will take sample number 2. That is a single pass at 6,000 at 180 degrees. Then the third pass is just going to be running that oil through a second time. And that'll give us a definitive answer on what process works the best, if these units are doing their job, and yeah, hopefully it shows that this has all been worth the investment. So we'll find out, won't we? Anyways, gonna get spun back up and get going. Take our vent, run it back outside, and we'll start oil flow. We'll get it dialed in and let it run. Okay, well, we're gonna go on and dump this bucket back up into that one, and we're gonna run it through again and see the results of 2 passes at 6,000 RPM, 180 degrees, roughly 5 gallons per hour. So yeah, I'm going and get that up there, hopefully without making a giant mess. Back up and running. We'll let this go through, and this will be the second pass on this 5 gallon, well, 2.5-ish gallon batch, and we'll sample that as well, get it all ready to be sent off to the lab. I'll also take clear bottle or clear jar samples as well, just so we can get a good visual of how this oil has cleaned up. Well, that is it. The unit is shutting down for the last time. All 3 tests have been ran. We'll see if we can get a little visual on the sludge drain this time. But this is the sludge drain off from the first 6K pass. This is 3K. This is 6K. And this is 2 passes at 6K. Can see through this easily. This is hazy, just slightly. This is darker and hazy. And there we go. Oil coming out of the sludge drain this time. Doesn't look bad. We'll let it drain all the way down. Pop this lid off and take a look and see what's inside the bowl. Here are our 3 samples getting ready to be sent to the labs for visual reference. Test number 1, 3,000 RPM. Test number 2, 6,000 single pass. Test number 3, 6,000 2 passes. All right, so let's take a look inside and see what we've got this go around. Very hot still. Okay, we've got visually have a little buildup on the wall compared to the 3,000 RPM pass, which that's kind of interesting. Let's get a little light on the situation. Yep, definitely have a buildup layer. It's not real heavy, which I didn't expect. I mean, because this wasn't a large quantity of oil or anything. But it is there compared to the 3,000 RPM pass. So it'll be interesting to see the lab results. Hopefully we didn't end up pulling any of the additives out of the oil, which is possible. But they'll be able to tell that with the lab test results. And this oil, the lab that's going to be testing it, is the manufacturer. So we're going to send it to them, and they will give a recommendation on if the oil can be put back into service or not. This oil is very high dollar. It is ran in some high dollar equipment. So if we can come up with a plan to recondition the oil, get maybe 2 or 3 service intervals out of it with just cleaning it up, that would save this this outfit a substantial amount of money. But yeah, we're gonna see what happens and go from there. We'll get these packaged up. Actually, I've already got the samples in the bags ready to ship out. As soon as I get shipping labels, they will go. We should have results back here in a couple of weeks, I would think. Well, with all our testing done and everything packaged up, ready to ship out to the lab, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. If you got any comments, questions, complaints, drop them in the comment section below. If you would, hit that thumbs up button. Helps us out quite a bit and doesn't cost you anything. If you want to support the channel, there's a PayPal account set up. The link to that's in the video description. You can also get our merch, your black diesel gear, the setup right here, all on the website, www.notsograndgarage.com. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We appreciate you watching.